did you last feel free?
When I got to drive my car a lot. A car? Is that my car? I love driving my car. Something about being able to drive your car that allows freedom, and I haven't been able to drive my car. There was a time where there was always people outside my house. Everywhere I went, there was a spectacle made because of how many people were with me. And that can kind of start get to you a little bit, and you can start trying to rebel against that.
But I'm really not interested in pity. I have no need for it. What I could use is some understanding from people and a little privacy, and just a day off would be nice.
In today's video, I want to talk about Britney Spears and the conservatorship that she is being held under against her will by her father. And I want to mention that a lot of this stuff is speculation within the media and within the Free Britney movement, which is out there in order to try and give some traction to what is going on and to the fact that Britney Spears is being taken advantage of by her father and potentially by a lot of people in her life. This entire scenario is not uncommon, sadly, within the music industry. We've seen women like Marilyn Monroe and even Whitney Houston have similar scenarios happen where they are the breadwinners for their families and for their team, and they get taken advantage of and used like a cash cow. And I decided that I wanted to make a comprehensive video to give people a lowdown on Britney, a brief history of what went on with her mental health and the decline of her mental health, and how this entire thing came about. But in order to do that, we have to look back at the past in order to figure out how we got here. So I'm going to include a lot of information. I'll include links where possible, so make sure to check the description down below. I will also have some petitions that you guys can sign for Britney and other causes that I feel need more traction. And I hope that you will keep an open mind, listen to what I have to say, do your own research, and make up your own mind. Like I said, this is alleged, it's speculation, but there is something wrong here, and I'm sure once you look at this video, you will see that something is amiss. And I feel like we owe it to Britney to look into this. Britney Jean Spears is an American singer who was born in Mississippi on December 2nd, 1981. She was raised by her parents, James and Lynn Spears, in Kentwood, Louisiana. Britney began her performing career at 3 years old when she started to get dance lessons in her hometown of Kentwood. She also went on to start singing around the age of 5 and won many different state championship competitions and children's talent shows over the years. Britney's big break happened at just 8 years old when her and her mother Lynn traveled to Atlanta, Georgia to audition for the 1990s revival of the Mickey Mouse Club. The cast of the Mickey Mouse Club went on to include some future famous faces, such as fellow singer Christina Aguilera, actor Ryan Gosling, and love interest and pop singer sensation Justin Timberlake. Once the Mickey Mouse Club had ended, Justin and Britney lost touch over the years, but they reconnected years later and even ended up dating for 3 years, eventually splitting up in 2002. Their breakup was a public spectacle and made media headlines across the world when they both respectively decided to make music videos referring to their relationship problems. Justin even insinuated in his video for Cry Me a River that Britney Spears had cheated on him, and that is why their relationship ended. She ended up responding with the iconic pop ballad Every Time. Then in January of 2004, Britney Spears married her childhood friend Jason Alexander at the Little White Chapel in Las Vegas, Nevada. The marriage was annulled and lasted exactly 55 hours when Britney Spears petitioned in court saying that she lacked understanding of her actions. In July of 2004, after just 3 months of dating, Britney announced her engagement to her backup dancer Kevin Federline. The two were married on September 18th and went on to have 2 children together, Jaden James and Sean Preston. The marriage between Britney and Kevin eventually became tumultuous and played out a lot throughout the media outlets. This is really when the cracks started to show. It was clear that around this time, Britney was becoming frustrated with her lack of creative control over her music and her image. In December of 2004, Britney showed up at an LA radio station with a demo she called Original Doll, often referred to as the Lost Britney album. This album was full of songs that she wrote herself, and Original Doll was never actually released by Britney's record label Jive. It's rumored that Jive did not want this album to be released because it was full of songs that were considered to be too personal to be made public, thus potentially ruining her image. Something else I wanted to mention is the fact that there is a rumor out there that Britney's singing voice is not her natural singing voice. If you actually look back at videos of Britney when she was younger, you can see that Britney had a much deeper voice. She didn't have the baby voice that she became famous for, and it seems as though she was definitely trained to sing that way, and there's speculation that that was something that her record label did in order to set her apart, and I absolutely think this is very possible, considering the fact that around the time Britney debuted, Christina Aguilera debuted around the same time, and it was something to separate her and make her sound totally unique and different. I mean, her baby voice and the way she sings is so iconic, and it's constantly imitated. You know exactly, when someone is making fun of or imitating Britney Spears, you can tell right away that it's Britney Spears' voice. So I really think this is something that was intentional from her record label. The reason why I say that is the fact that Britney probably couldn't even speak or sing in her normal voice. She constantly had to be striving for something that her record label told her to do, and basically forced her potentially to emulate for years and years, even now as an adult woman, and I can't imagine how frustrating that must be. Around 2005, Britney came under fire from the paparazzi. There was much scrutiny and her every move was being filmed. She began to get a series of traffic offences and charges around this time. In September of 2006, her second child, Jaden James, was born, and soon after, her marriage to Kevin Federline started to unravel. This created a custody battle between the two parents and was covered highly in the media. Britney's divorce and custody battle started to take its toll on her mental health. Around this time, she was seen partying out in LA and often was seen exposing herself to paparazzi, making headlines for her wild nights out.
This lawyer accused you of hitting her last night, is that true? You hit her? Two more.
In 2007, everything came to a head when Britney's beloved aunt Sandra died. The two were very close, and the news of her death greatly affected Britney's mental health. Britney started to display some worrying behaviours around this time. It was around this time that the infamous head shaving incident occurred, and when Britney was asked why she was shaving her hair off, she said she was tired of everybody touching her. She began having a series of run-ins with the paparazzi, including the incident where she hit the photographer's car with an umbrella, making headlines across the world.
That's the recently rehab.
She also adopted a strange British accent, and it was clear that she was acting out against her manufactured self, given to her by her label Jive.
How you doing? Going home right now?
What?
You going home?
I look horrendous right now.
Yeah, you look good.
You're making fun of me. Oh, my top's like come off. That's not a good thing. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Oh, new trunk you can open, huh?
Oh.
How you like your new car, Britney?
Stop it. This isn't my car. It's a rental.
Oh, it's a rental car.
Please get out. What? I don't care about them right now. I want to drive my fucking car. Are you going to fucking get out? Oh, my my God, will you please stop and get out of the way? Now I'm scared you're going to drive off without me. Now get out, get in the passenger seat, get out of the fucking car, get out, get out, get out. Thank you. And you're going to sit right here. Sit down. Thank you. Drive my fucking car, that's what I got to do.
In early 2008, Britney was placed on a 5150 hold, known as an involuntary psychiatric hold. She was placed on another hold weeks later because she refused to take her medication. It is said that Britney's manager, Sam Lufty, was greatly mistreating her at the time, denying her access to basic needs and rights such as her ability to use a phone, to drive her car, etc. It's alleged that Sam was also verbally and emotionally abusive to Britney. In 2008, Britney's father was given a temporary conservatorship, which meant that he had the right to manage Britney's finances and business affairs, basically signing over all her rights to him. The definition of a conservatorship is a legal concept in the United States. A guardian or protector is appointed by a judge to manage the financial affairs and/or daily life of another due to physical or mental limitations or old age. A person under conservatorship is a conservatee, a term that can refer to an adult. Britney tried to hire her own lawyer to fight the conservatorship, but due to the limitations and implications of the conservatorship, this became impossible. Just 2 months after her initial breakdown, Britney did a guest appearance on the hit TV show How I Met Your Mother. And 6 months after her hospitalization, she released her music video for Womanizer and started the promotion on her newest album, Circus, which grossed $131.8 million. The question I have for you is, if her father thought she was so unfit and so unwell, why would he work her like a dog? Something is not right here.
If I wasn't under the restraints that I'm under right now, I'd feel so liberated. And when I tell them the way I feel, it's like they hear me, but they're really not listening.
Britney's father went on to apply for a full and permanent conservatorship due to the fact that he alleged that Britney had early onset dementia. Bear in mind, at this time, Britney was in her 20s. He was granted the conservatorship, and it has been that way ever since for the past 12 years.
I am very angry. I'm horribly angry. Even when you go to jail, there's always the time that you know that you're going to get out, you know. But in this situation, it's never ending. There's no excitement. There's no passion.
Just to put it into perspective, Britney cannot drive, she cannot vote, she cannot get married, she cannot spend her own hard-earned money, she only has 30% custody of her children, she cannot hire her own lawyer, she can't use social media unmonitored, she can't use a phone without being monitored, she can't go on a date, she can't walk alone, she basically is monitored 24/7. Conservatorships are usually for elderly people who can no longer take care of themselves, or people who are so mentally unwell they cannot take care of themselves either. And one thing I think about this is, if Britney was so unwell, why was she constantly working throughout her obvious mental collapse? I mean, since the conservatorship, Britney has released 4 albums, she's done 3 worldwide tours, she had a 4-year residency in Las Vegas, she was a full-time judge on the X Factor, she released several perfumes and even started a lingerie line, and made $138 million in a year. Recently, in January of 2019, Britney was placed in a mental health facility for allegedly refusing to take her medication. She testified this in front of a judge, and this is around the time that the Free Britney movement began, causing the judge to open an investigation into her claims and making a review of the legitimacy of her conservatorship. I also want to mention that there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on about Britney's social media. I don't necessarily want to delve too much into it, but I feel like it's something I should address within this video. People are trying to claim that Britney is sending signals via her Instagram posts and the color of clothing that she's wearing, and how it may be a signal for help. And I feel like although we can try and look for clues within Britney's social media, it's important to know that Britney's media is being monitored at all times. And I feel like by creating these silly conspiracy theories within something that is very, very serious and very, very real and legal, just delegitimizes the movement in a way. So please be careful about what you share about the Free Britney movement, because it's not a joke. This is a woman's life we're talking about. Every year, Britney pays $1.1 million in legal fees for her conservatorship to continue, including paying her father a $100K plus salary a year. Britney is allowed a weekly allowance of $1,500 a week for bills, shopping, etc., which is crazy considering her net worth is $250 million. One of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is I feel like it's important to give people some information so that they can then go and research more on their own. There's probably going to be loads more updates since I create this video, so keep an eye on it. Check out the hashtag #FreeBritney on social media and stay informed. And just know that, sadly, this is not the first time in Hollywood history that this has happened. I'm sure it's happened to so many people. There's so much darkness to Hollywood, and if we look back at people like Judy Garland, who was drugged by her movie studio, and Whitney Houston, who was sucked dry of money and greed by her extended family and her close relatives. Like, it's so depressingly sad that these people become cash cows for their families, and it ends up in tragedy always. So I feel like now is a time where we have enough information that we can stand up for people who need help. And I feel like Britney Spears deserves to live a life. She deserves to drive a car on her own. She deserves to be able to go to the movies by herself, or go on a walk, or go on a date without anyone watching over her. I feel like she's worked so hard her entire life. She is owed these simple human rights. You know, I think it's terrible. I think it's shocking. And I think that her father needs to reevaluate this and just look at what he's doing to his daughter, because it is truly terrible. It really, really is. And it's not only Britney that's affected, it's her children and the people closest to her as well. And I'm really, really proud of everybody within the Free Britney movement who is standing up and saying something and really trying to bring attention to this, because Britney deserves a better life. She deserves respect, and she deserves help instead of being stifled and sucked dry of her finances and her life. It's just wrong in so many ways. And I really appreciate you guys for getting this far. If you have, thank you so much. I really worked hard on this video, and I hope that you guys learned something new. And you can definitely look in the description bar down below and you can check out some more information. I will leave some resources and also some petitions that you can sign that will help Britney and will also help other people in need as well. And thank you so much for listening to me. I really genuinely appreciate your time, and I will see you guys in my next video.